On July 20th, 2025, the Lawrence to Bryn Mawr reconstruction phase of the Red-Purple Modernization project was completed with the opening of 4 fully reconstructed stations and the reopening of the southbound tracks between Wilson and Thorndale. The North Side Main Line is one of the most important branches in the Chicago L system. Running from the loop to the north end of the city at Howard Station, this branch is served by the red, purple, and brown lines and includes some of the busiest sections of the system. The section of the North Side Main Line that just finished reconstruction is quad-tracked and 1.4 miles long, running through the dense neighborhoods of Uptown and Edgewater. The 2 inner tracks are served by the Red Line and the outer tracks served by the Purple Line. The 4 new stations are only served by the Red Line, with the Purple Line trains running express and passing all of them. Even though service to the new station started at 12 a.m., the CTA announced the ceremonial first trip leaving southbound from Bryn Mawr at 7:45 a.m. Similar to the new existing northbound tracks, which have been open for 2 years, the new southbound tracks are very smooth and have that new track noise that the northbound tracks had the first couple of weeks after they opened. And if you do want to get a good idea of what those stations look like before construction, check out either the Thorndale, Morse, or Jarvis stations. They're very similar. The 4 new stations have unique mezzanines and street-level layouts, which I'll go through individually. Lawrence is a relatively basic but still elegant-looking mezzanine with tiles and sort of an illuminated border around the central glass and concrete section. Over the street, there's a multicolor light fixture and an auxiliary exit on the south side of the street. There is also a crosswalk right at the station, which is an improvement over many existing stations where the nearest crosswalk is over 100 meters away. So if you say get off a bus on the other side of the street and want to get on the train, you're probably just going to jaywalk. Inside the mezzanine itself, there's a set of large screens that display service alerts, replacing the paper alerts that are posted at existing stations and are often out of date. So this is a great improvement. It should have started happening 10 years ago, but it's good that we're here now. There is also an abstract art installation just behind the fare gates. Next is Argyle. At street level, there are E-station inspired patterns on both lights hanging from the tracks and bricks on the street below, as well as on signs attached to the tracks visible from further down the street. These patterns are in reference to the large number of Vietnamese businesses along this stretch of Argyle. Since COVID and because the temporary Argyle station was actually a block north, there's been a lot less foot traffic and many storefronts are vacant. The area has become somewhat unpleasant and decrepit. So hopefully now that the station is open, Argyle Street will stop looking like this. Anyway, the mezzanine is pretty similar to Lawrence with big LED screens and metal plating, though as one would expect, the artwork is different. Next is Berwyn, which is probably my favorite of the 4. The entrance is a large triangular canopy that nicely incorporates one of the pillars holding up the track, making the station unique. There's also a nice mosaic piece of artwork in the mezzanine and a metallic piece of artwork out front. Berwyn Street is a rather quiet residential street, so the size and brightness of the station entrance is quite the contrast. But I still think the station looks good, so I still like it. Now onto Bryn Mawr, the northernmost and most boring of the 4 stations. The main entrance is pretty basic with white tiles and concrete pillars. Unlike the other stations, there's no ornamentation under the tracks going above the street, so when you look up you just see trusses and pipes. There are, however, metal carvings of historic houses on the sides of the entrance, as well as art installations inside the station. The station also has an auxiliary entrance on Hollywood, which the previous Bryn Mawr station didn't have. This entrance has all the amenities of the main mezzanine, but for whatever reason the CTA decided to only have 2 of those full-size turnstiles, which are normally reserved for entrances without an attendance booth, but here there is one. Perhaps the CTA just plans on never actually staffing it, but that's that. At the end of the day, this project is an example of CTA successfully modernizing severely aged infrastructure that will result in better speeds, reliability, and comfort. Hopefully, the future stages of the Red-Purple Modernization project will be just as successful, and hopefully they will happen somewhat soon.